And now it's time for my complete... neutral, total...
Hello. Hello. Alright, so we're here. Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez, and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic, and welcome back to another YouTube channel video, everybody. I'm so excited to have you back today again. Hold up. So today, welcome back to another YouTube channel video, or welcome back to another live stream. I know I've been doing a lot of these lately. What are we doing today? So, if you can't tell by the title, today we're continuing the end of the month, end of the year, lists. Yesterday I did my top, all the movies I saw in theaters ranked. And this year, today, we are starting a new kind of list. In ranking every single TV show that I saw in 2024, both from the first time watches, also the new release shows that were released in 2024, and I am also including new seasons of television that were, from shows that were released back a long time ago. So before we get started with that, let me kind of get a sip of water, and I need to clean my glasses because they are a little dirty. Be right with you in a minute. Get a little bit of my chairs here. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with all of this. Okay, so we're going ahead and get started. All right, so I don't know if this list is like in release order or in how I saw them. But some shows, they're going to be in... So the way that this is going to work is that I'm actually going to be doing two lists today in one stream. So, I don't want this here. Sorry. Okay. Let's get started. Alright, so we'll talk about the first show that I saw this year, which was Echo. I think that this show is very good. I would give it an A-. Oh, by the way, I'm doing this list first, and then I'm doing my first time watches, because it has a lot more shows in there. So, overall, I think Echo is a overall really good show. I do think that it could have used a whole lot more with its premise, and especially adding a few more episodes, adding more time to the show, but I think what they delivered was something solid. As to where I'll put it on this list, I'm going to put it in the B. I'll put it in B. That's where I'll put it. Then we got A Bug's Real Life. This is basically a documentary, a National Geographic documentary on Disney+. And it's basically telling you the story of these bugs and their life. And I believe it's narrated by Awkwafina. I thought this National Geographic documentary was incredible. I thought it was, I loved the way it was filmed. I loved Awkwafina's narration, and I also just love the editing. I loved this one, and I liked learning about insects, even though they do creep me out. So I'll put this one in A. I really like this one. Then we have Masters of the Air. This is the Austin Butler series where he's like an Air Force pilot. I thought it was pretty good. Nothing too much more to say about that, but it was good. I'll put this one in C. But honestly, like, I remember I did like it when I first watched it, but I really don't remember a single thing about it. So, yeah. Then we have Mr. and Mrs. Smith. This series, I'm actually going to be honest with you, I loved this series. Now, I am still planning to watch the Mr. and Mrs. Smith movie, and I think something else from the other series that they made. But I really enjoyed this show. I thought it was great. I loved Donald Glover and this other girl in here. I liked that they kind of created a relationship in here. And I liked that it was kind of this, like, action-type thriller. It was just something really cool. I'm going to put this one in A for me. This was one of the best shows of 2024. Definitely. And it's definitely underrated. Now, is it better than A Real Bug's Life? Yes, it is. Then we have Alpha Males. So, I watched the first season, and it was fine. So, put it in C. Avatar: The Last Airbender. A lot of people, I don't remember if anybody said they didn't like it, or they thought it was bad. I thought it was actually pretty good. So, put it in B. I liked it. Then we have La Brea. I thought this was another fine season of La Brea. There's an interesting concept to this show, but it's not for me. But I'll still put it in C because I thought it was still good. Shogun. Shogun was a series that I was a little bored by, but at the same time, I think it's a series that I appreciated much more than everybody gives it credit for. Everybody says it's like the new Game of Thrones of this new age and decade. I thought it was good. As to where I'll put it, though, I'll put it high B. It was kind of boring, but that's only because it's very mature. And I also have never seen Game of Thrones, so I probably need to watch that first in order to get the vibe of what, if we are getting a Shogun Season 2. Next up, we have Owaju. This is a Disney Plus animated series that basically tells a technological land in Lagos, Nigeria. I thought this series was kind of cool. Granted, none of the characters are really memorable in this series. Nothing really about this series was, in fact, memorable. So, I'm actually going to put this one in the C tier as well. It's better than most of this series here, but yeah. Then we have The Gentleman. So this is actually the sequel series to The Gentleman movie from Guy Ritchie, and I believe Guy Ritchie was also involved in making this show. I actually enjoyed it a good bit. And you'll go and see. I'll put this one in C tier as well. So yeah. No, actually, wait. I'm gonna switch it around. Masters of the Air will be top C tier, definitely. And then we have the Megamind show. Yeah, much like everybody else, this show was terrible. And plus, also the movie was terrible too. So, yeah, they're gonna go in F tier, unfortunately. Yeah. Queens. So yeah, this is another National Geographic show from Disney Plus. It was a little series on Disney Plus, basically showing us, telling us what stories about women animals, and it's for National Women's Month, and I believe it was released in March, and it was narrated by Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett's narration was awesome, and the different stories with all the different animals I thought was unique in its own way. So this is another top tier National Geographic documentary series. I'm not gonna lie, National Geographic and Disney Nature, they make a lot of good stuff. If you're into animals, I would consider watching that because it's awesome. Then we have Invincible Season 3, or at least the second part of Invincible Season 3. So I actually just started watching the first 2 seasons of Invincible this year. Oh, no, wait. Was it second part of Season 2 or Season 3? I don't remember. But it's the next part of Invincible that we got back in November of 2023. I thought it was very good. I really enjoy it. I have a lot more opinions to talk about the overall show of Invincible in my first time watches, but for this part of Invincible, I think it was overall very good. I can't say that it's top tier, but it is definitely very good. So you're gonna go. It's definitely better. It's not going in C tier, but it's definitely in B tier category. So, I'll put it high B. It was better because it actually has depth, even though it struggled a little bit with its storytelling. I still like the brutal action. I still like the soundtrack. I still like the animation. It's still surfaced on a whole lot of great levels. Then we have possibly one of the best shows of this year, X-Men 97. So I was not particularly excited for this show when it was first announced. I just thought that, I watched X-Men the Animated Series before watching this show, and I wasn't a big fan of that show, mainly because I'm not in the demographic to watch these 90s shows. Granted, it's Marvel, it's classic Marvel, so I mean, I should like it, but I do like it, but it's not my favorite. We got X-Men in the Animated Series, and it is easily, I was so completely wrong about this series. This series, they found a way to modernize that 90s version of X-Men to where it makes me want to watch every single classic, iconic Marvel thing that they made in the past, bring it back and modernize it at the same time. I want them to do that with Spider-Man the Animated Series and do like Spider-Man 98 and, modernize it, tell exciting Spider-Man stories, do all of that amazing stuff. I want to do that. I think there's a way that you can bring all these iconic characters in their iconic comic booky looks, which is exactly what X-Men 97 is, and tell those iconic Spider-Man Marvel stories that we would want to see. But we'll have to wait for now for Spider-Man 98. For X-Men 97, I think this show was fantastic, and while I wasn't familiar with a lot of these stories, I thought that the way they kind of summed up certain storylines in just simple episodes, I thought was fantastic. So, as to where I'll put X-Men 97, it is definitely going in the A tier. But where is it going? I'm going to put it in it's the top of A tier. It is definitely one of the best shows of 2024. I don't know if it's my personal favorite, but it's definitely one of the best. Then we have Nell. This is like a pirate show. I totally forgot what this was. I remember I kind of wanted to watch it because it looked kind of fun to me. But honestly, I didn't really have too much to say about it. I'll put it high C. I enjoy shows like this, and it was fun to watch. Actually, I'll put it here. Yeah. Fallout. It kind of has the similar thing I said about Shogun, to where it's a little bit boring, but I really enjoyed a lot of the aspects that this show gave. So I'll put this one in B next to Shogun. I think, I'll put it there. Curb Your Enthusiasm, the season that we got this year, I thought it was pretty funny. I think this show is a little bit stupid at times. The plot, it's not really all that interesting, to be honest with you. It's kind of dumb funny. I think it gets funnier as it gets more, into the real world. As to where I'll put this show, well, we got a lot of shows to talk about. Okay, I'll put this one, I'll put it here in the C tier. Then we have Knuckles. So yeah, I enjoyed this show. That was fine. Um, to be honest, I didn't really care about this show all that much. I was more invested into because like I was just getting more excited for Sonic 3, which I have not seen yet, unfortunately. But I'll put this one in C too. It's a solid C. What's that other show? The one with the white and the black girl. I forgot. Heart of Abishola, or something like that. Yeah, I thought this was a pretty funny CBS rom-com. I started watching the series earlier this year. It was very funny. I don't know if I can necessarily include it in the top tier, but I'll definitely include it in the top of B tier. So it'll go there. Then we have Young Sheldon. I thought this was a great last season of this show. I loved Young Sheldon. I love the first like 7 seasons or 6 seasons. I don't remember how many seasons there are, but I thought this was a great way to close out this show. You get more of the drama with the family. You see it progress and kind of getting better while the Mandy's family doesn't like it. But then you get that big reveal, and basically they kept, in the Big Bang Theory, they kept talking about Sheldon's dad dying. And so you knew that this was coming in this season, but you didn't really know how they were going to, handle it. And I thought they handled it perfectly, in my opinion. And for some reason, from the episode that I watched, I don't remember, but for some reason they kept showing like different versions of it, to where it's like one is longer, one has different scenes. So I'm not really sure. No matter what version I saw, I thought it was great. So I'm gonna put this one in A. Though there is something I do kind of wish. There was a few more things I wish could have happened in this season, especially in the finale. But I think overall, this season was amazing. Grownish, the next part of Grownish, I've just been really liking this series. I like she's the girl. I haven't seen Blackish or that other series that's like the middle of it, but I really like Grownish. I think it's very good. I think Freeform, it's like, you have CBS, you have CBS All Access, and then you have Freeform. And besides all the Disney movies and 25 Days of Christmas movies they be playing, they have some underrated shows on there. And they have some pretty good shows on there. And Grownish is actually a pretty good one of them, which we'll actually get into another interesting show in a minute. But yeah, so for me, Grownish is a great show. It's definitely very good. I personally very much enjoyed myself watching this show. So I'm going to put this one in top of B. Most definitely. Then we have Station 19. And as to where I'll put this show, I think it's good. It's definitely a good show. It has that realism to it with all the situations of like fires and people, passing out. I think all that stuff is kind of fun. Not fun, but I like the seriousness of it. That's pretty much what this whole show's been. And I think the one other show I really want to watch is 911. I think that show I really want to watch, with Angela Bassett and the other guy that was in like a bunch of James Gunn movies. So I'll put this one in C. And yeah. Next up, we have this other Star Trek series. I've never watched anything Star Trek related before, but this one was cool. It was fine. It was cool. So I'll put this one in C tier as well. I got a lot in C tier, but there's got to be something else. Then we got the Acolyte series. I thought this series was pretty good. I enjoyed the choreography. I enjoyed the story. And overall, it was a fun show. Didn't think it was awesome or amazing, but I kind of got something out of it. So it'll go here. Yeah, I'll put it here. Oh, wait. I just remembered. There's a show I didn't put in here. Okay. I'm going to need to cheat a minute here. Hold up. Give me 1 second, guys. I forgot to put Skeleton Crew in here, and I've been watching it every week. Crazy. And you'll hear about my thoughts about the show in the minute. Okay, there we go. We got Skeleton Crew in here. Okay, so next up we have The Boys, the 3rd season. Much like Invincible and stuff like that, I think that this was another good season of The Boys. I don't necessarily love it like that, but I appreciate all the crass and the violent action that this show gives us. So, I think overall, I'm going to put this one in B as well. But it's definitely going above Invincible Season 2 or whatever. Alright, next up we have this animated Little Mermaid series that came out in June, which I was shocked because... and I was kind of wondering, like, this is from Disney Junior, and I think Disney Junior has handled some of their films, their shows based off Disney properties pretty well, and like they're telling like a prequel story and telling a little story of baby Ariel, but except this is based on Halle Bailey's Ariel from The Little Mermaid 2023, and yeah, this one just didn't work for me. It was basically just like 2.5 minute short episodes. It wasn't really anything special. No special moment. They still made all the characters animated. I'm so glad they didn't do anything for this for like The Lion King, for like Mufasa or anything. If they end up doing that, I mean, I would be pretty glad, but I hope they do better on that show. This one, it's hard to even, like, I can't put it in F because it's like they didn't do necessarily anything bad. I just think the premise was just terrible. I'll put it in D. Just D. The Bear. I think that this was a lot more of an interesting story this time around, but I don't think it was all that memorable. I like the Jamie Lee Curtis plotline. I think that was cool. Hold up. Let me get a drink of water quick. I've been talking for about 20 minutes now. So anyway, The Bear, as to where I'll put it in B. I enjoyed it. My family enjoys it. Yeah, B. Cobra Kai. Really enjoy the first 5 seasons. This final season was overwhelming, to say the least. I'll put this one in C, but above the Star Trek series. Next up, we have a show that I really liked. Batman Caped Crusader. I thought this was one of the best shows of 2024. I loved the animation of Batman. I loved this new type of story for Batman. I loved the way they handled the characters. And I overall just really dug this show. So I'm going to put this one in A. But it's going to go probably at the bottom. A. It's going about young Sheldon. Then we have The Penguin. One of the more underrated shows for me. At first I was like, this is kind of boring. But then, once I started getting to the Sophia Falcone character, and you start to learn about how Arkham and how bad of a place it is, it's some pretty messed up shit that they do in that. But I really enjoy the way they handled it, to where there are some bad people that are against Penguin, but Penguin is still a bad guy. And I really like the way they handled doing all of that, and plus it makes me more invested into the world of Gotham. And we recently just got announced that the Batman Part 2 just got delayed. If you think about it, I know Matt Reeves didn't work on the Planet of the Apes trilogy fully because he didn't direct Rise, but if you think about it, imagine the Batman Part 2 is going to be like the next Dawn, and then Part 3 will be like the next War. That will be awesome. But anyway, and the fact that we'll actually get a Batman trilogy, like the Christopher Nolan films, that'll be incredible. Oh my god, that'll be incredible. As for where I'll put the Penguin, I'll put it in B. It seems, but it's going to go between the Bear and Invincible. That's where I'll put it. And now we have Agatha, and it's tough to even grade this show because I didn't really watch it. Like, I enjoyed some parts with, like, finding out that one of Wanda's kids was alive, and so that was kind of interesting. But I don't know, I just couldn't enjoy this show all that much. It's like, I'm not interested in Agatha as a character per se. It's like, there's like, I'm not interested in witchcraft like that. And like, yeah, the sets were good. Aubrey Plaza is hot. But I don't know, I couldn't get into it. So I'm going to put this one in D. It's not F because there are still some things I kind of liked from it, but it's overall just a complete disappointment. Georgie and Mandy. Coming off of the last season of Young Sheldon, I thought they've been handling this show fantastically. To where you like the chemistry that you have with Georgie and Mandy in Young Sheldon when that whole story and them getting pregnant is happening, but when it is a main story and you get to see them and how their life is going and how their life with Mandy's parents are going, I just thought that story was something really well crafted. And even coming off of the emotions of Georgie's father dying and him dealing with that and him going under a lot of stress, and even seeing of how Georgie's family is dealing with that with, her mom, his mom not wanting to do Thanksgiving, Missy acting out because Sheldon is gone and she's feeling alone. All of this is really well done, and it also makes me want to watch Big Bang Theory more, which I haven't seen yet, but I really want to watch that show more, because I've seen many clips of it. I've seen the first episode. It's hilarious, but Georgie and Mandy, fantastic show, hilarious, and extremely emotional. This show is top tier. I love it. Is it better than Batman Cape Crusader? Yes, it is. It is. But it's not better than these other shows that I talked about. Then we have Dune Prophecy. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this show. Yeah, this show was fine. It was okay. See, like, I loved Dune Part 2, but not in the way everybody else did. So, for me, I'm going to have to put this one in the C tier as well, but it'll go next to, it definitely go above the Star Trek show. Then we have one of the newer shows that just came out this past month in Creature Commandos. I've honestly been loving every single episode of this show. I love how violent it is. I love the needle drops in this show. But I also love the creativity that James Gunn put into this show and the way that the story evolves. To me, the show just keeps getting more interesting. Especially with this last week's episode, I thought, is Rick Flag dead? Because we know he's going to be in Superman, but we heard something about the timeline not being exactly in order. So I'm like, it makes me kind of interested to see where this show's going to go. So I'm very interested. I'm very intrigued. So this show has been pretty great so far. Now, as to where I'll put it, though, I'm going to put Creature Commandos in the A category and above Young Sheldon. Then we have Dream Productions. So I was actually coming off of Inside Out 2, which is one of my favorite films of this past year, I was actually looking very forward to this series because I wanted to know how exactly, like, I want to see these iconic dreams that Riley had. However, instead of it turning into a series where we get to see, like, these iconic dreams, it turns more of into a documentary type story to where we explore how these dreams were made. But we've never really gotten to see any of these iconic dreams. We've seen one where she's saying goodbye to her pacifier, but I want to see, like, I want to see one where the unicorn stars in one of them. And, like, that's also where it falls flat for me because you never really care about any of the characters. And it's like, the story was fine enough, but it just felt very weak for me. So, kind of a disappointment of a show, but yeah, I just wasn't a big fan of it, to be honest. So, you're going to go in C, unfortunately. Then we have Ted. I loved Ted, this series. I'm a massive fan of the first film, and when they announced that they're making a new Ted series, and it's going to take place in the 90s with John and Ted in, like, their high school years, and man, was this show awesome. Not only was it hilarious, but it also gave depth to all to John and Ted characters, but it also developed characters throughout John's family, both this Blair character as well as his mom and dad, that I thought was just so unique and kind of added a lot of depth to them, to where those characters do not steal the show of Ted and John, because they are the main standouts. They are still our main characters. They are still great, and I loved the way they did this show. And I'm thinking we're getting a season 2. I really want a season 2 now because this show was fantastic. I cannot wait. I'm putting this in A. It's a top tier show. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. It's my favorite show of 2024. Kill me. I don't care. It is the best show of 2024. Then we have The Bad Batch. I believe season 3 or 4. I don't know. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed this season. It was fine. Nothing much else to say about it, but it was fine. Put this one in the C category. Then we have Umbrella Academy season 3 or 4. I forget which season. It's fine. I thought it was good. Nothing else to say about that, but yeah. Alright, now we're on to our last two TV shows of the new year with What If Season 3 and Skeleton Crew. So, What If Season 3, the finale comes out tonight, so that'll be fun to watch. However, I have a few bit of issues with this show that I'll talk about tomorrow, but as to where I'm standing with this show, I think it's fine. As to where I'm standing with this season, I think it's pretty good. I'm liking a lot of the creativity and stuff like that, and I liked the 7th episode we just got last night. I mean, I'm liking it so far, but it's a little bit underwhelming. So I'm gonna put this one. I'll put this one here. It's a C. And then finally we have Skeleton Crew, and I think that this is definitely one of the better shows of 2024. So I'm gonna put Skeleton Crew in in the C category. So yeah, that's where I'll put it. And there you go. That's my 2024 TV show list. So yeah, my top 5 favorite shows, my top 10 favorite shows or seasons of 2024 are Ted, X-Men 97, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Bugs Real Life, Queens, Georgie and Mandy's, First Marriage, Batman Caped Crusader, Creature Commandos, Young Sheldon Season 7, and Grownish Season 5, I believe. And yeah, that's my top 10 favorite shows of this year. And now we're going to start heading on over to the first time watches, which you have over like 61 shows to talk about. Oh man, this is a massive list. Okay. Actually, let me edit something real quick. So we're at 35, 30. Oh shit. Okay. So, yeah, I've seen a bit of variety of television this year. Some of these shows I haven't finished. Some of them I kind of went overboard. But let's start with the first show, Dora. See, I watched this show mainly because I wanted to. I heard a new Dora show was coming out, so I kind of wanted to see what it was like. Never watched the new Dora show, and never liked the Dora show from our childhood, from Nickelodeon. Where would I put it per se? It's not good, but it's definitely gonna go in like the D tier. I can't say that it's F because it's a childhood show, you know. Curb Your Enthusiasm, it's fine. It's much like the other seasons, except not as funny. I'll put it in C. Alpha Males, the first season. I thought the show was also okay. Solid comedy. Avatar: The Last Airbender, the original series. I love this show. I think it's pretty great. I love the way they handled it. I love the characters. I love the animation. I think it's one of the better Nickelodeon animated shows. It's one of my favorites. I don't know if I could particularly say that. But yeah, we'll put it there. It's top tier. Then we have Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness. I think that this is another top tier show. I loved this show growing up. I technically rewatched it because I wanted to get ready for Kung Fu Panda 4, which is not that worth it to be honest, but it was still a fun experience rewatching this show. So, I'll also put that in A tier as well. Brea, a fine TV show. C. The Thundermans. Very good show. Greatest payoff to make an amazing movie out of it. Loved it. I really enjoyed the Thundermans. I really enjoyed it. Then we have the Dragon Knights or whatever, Paws of Destiny, whatever. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about this show. Like this show, I don't care about these Panda characters. Like, where is the Furious Five? I want to be with them. I'm tired of the Panda Village. I just want to be with the Kung Fu Panda characters. Like, where are they? But the main story was fine. Like, it was okay. I'll put it in D. X-Men the Animated Series. Yeah, I'll put it in C. But yeah. To be clear, I liked this series. Okay, I'm not hating on it, but I did like it. But I didn't have that emotional connection that I did with X-Men 97. Then we have Kung Fu Panda, Paws of Dragon Knights. And yeah, this one just feels like a big, dumb Panda, Kung Fu Panda fan fiction. Skull Island, I think, was a solid show, per se. Nothing too crazy for me. Monarch history celebration of monsters or whatever. I'll put it in here. Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the animated series. Put it there. Now we got all the Trollhunters series. There, and then there. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of them, but I thought they were enjoyable enough. Invincible, the seasons before the new season came out, I thought was incredible. I thought this show was fantastic. Do I like it more than Avatar, though? No. I mean, yes, I do. Then we have, Mutant X. Oh, yeah, this is enough. This show is boring. Didn't feel like anything X-Men related, but it was alright. My Hero Academia. First time sort of anime watching it. I thought it was alright. It's a B. Loud House. Loud House was another show that I found extremely hilarious. And I also thought it was another fun Nickelodeon show. I'll put it in B. X-Men Evolution, I thought was another fun animated X-Men series. I thought, it definitely worked for me. It was definitely better than these series. Fall Guy, I thought it was fine. Kind of boring, but fine. Put it in C as well. This Winnie the Pooh show, I actually started watching, but I don't know if I can include it because I didn't technically finish it. But for what I saw, it was kind of fun. It was good, but it was kind of creepy. So, I'll put it in C. Station 19. The other seasons, I think that this show is actually very good. I'll put it in C. Yeah. Young Sheldon. Oh, yeah, this is a top tier show. Just top tier show. Just top tier. Yeah. Loved Young Sheldon. The Bad Batch. And I know you're probably wondering, I'm not as, into these, I'm not reviewing these shows as much, but don't worry, we'll get into some of these shows, because there's a few shows that I will be talking about in this. Bob plus Abishola. I thought it was very good. It was definitely, yeah, this is top tier. Grownish. Oh yeah, Grownish is top tier too. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't big. I loved the seasons that we got this year, but I just prefer the classic ones. Spider-Man 67, vintage for classic Marvel fans, but is it actually a good show? Not necessarily. It's pretty weird and mid. So, where will I put it? I'll put it in the same category where Winnie the Pooh is, and it's definitely better than that. Casagrandes, I remember watching it, but I don't remember liking it any more than that. I think this family is fun, and I even watched the Casagrandes movie. I thought that movie was fun too, but I don't know. I wasn't all into the show. So, I'll put it here. The live action Loud House, I thought was fun. It was fun. The Hannibal show. Creepy, but cool. The Star Trek Discovery. It was okay. Then we have all the Marvel anime. This was the X-Men anime stuff. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed it enough. Legion. Yeah, we're going into the same category as the Hannibal show. Spider-Woman. Spider-Woman was in the same ballpark that was Spider-Man 67. I will say. It definitely didn't give me, like, anything of some great nature, but I enjoyed it. It's definitely going above Spider-Man 67. Actually, no, wait. Yeah, I'll put it here. The Boys. The Boys. Where am I going to put you? I'll put you at the top of B tier, because I enjoyed you. I really enjoyed it, but I actually preferred the new season a lot better. I think it gets better by age, but it's not my favorite show of all time. Star Wars Jedi Adventure, Young Jedi Adventures. Yeah, this show is fine. Very kiddish. Kind of forgettable. But I still kind of enjoyed it, though. It was still kind of cute. And then with the Muppet Show, which I think, did I add? Okay, add Sam and Friends on there. Okay. The Muppet Show, I haven't finished it, but I'm on season 2 right now. And I think the show is very fun. I started watching it because I watched the Jim Henson documentary back in May. And I really loved that documentary. And this show, it just keeps proving to me that I am a Sesame Street guy. I am not a Muppets or Miss Piggy or Foggy. Or Fozzie Bear. I said Foggy, not Foggy Nelson. Fozzie Bear. Like, I like all these characters. I think they're fun, but it's like, nothing replaces Sesame Street. Nothing replaces Cookie or Elmo or Big Bird or Oscar the Grouch. Nobody replaces them. So, where would I put this show, though? I will definitely put it... Because I like that it's just a big... It feels like a big Saturday Night Live skit. Like, that's kind of what it feels like. We're doing a bunch of random stuff, but it's all in the mind of Jim Henson. That's fun. But that's what makes Jim Henson's mind so creative. So, I'm going to put this one in C as well. The Bear... I'm not going to lie, I wasn't a big fan of the first few seasons of The Bear. I'll put this one in C as well. Then we have the Ewoks animated show. Yeah, I thought that show was kind of forgettable, not going to lie. D. I couldn't really get into it. Actually, you know what? I'm putting this one in F. I had no connection to it. Spider-Man, the animated series. So, you guys might hate me for this, because I'm about to place it. It's going to be a little bit controversial, but, yeah, I liked it better than X-Men, the animated series. And I know that sounds crazy. Now, I will still say I have the same opinion on it that I do X-Men, the animated series. But for me, it's a lot better because I know the lore of Spider-Man. I know these characters. I'm more familiar with it. And with Spider-Man, the animated series, it just worked a lot better for me. And, yeah, but that makes me more excited for me to want to see a Spider-Man 98 version of that nature and seeing those iconic Spider-Man stories brought to life in that comic booky form that we're not really able to see as much. Sonic the Hedgehog, one of the animated series from Sonic the Hedgehog. I think the show was fine. It didn't do anything for me. Like, I connected it with it on a good level. I like Sonic the Hedgehog. It was fine. Umbrella Academy. Yeah, I thought this show was okay. Spider-Man Unlimited. I feel like that this show had an interesting concept, but they just didn't really do a whole lot to, like, dive into it more. And I mean, it makes sense because, you know, they, wait, hold up. Is that showing here? Please tell me I didn't miss it. Hold up, guys. We missed a show. We missed another show. Alright, sorry, I missed a show there. Okay, so we have Spider-Man Unlimited, but yeah, I didn't really feel like they handled it well to where we are able to latch onto it as much. So, I don't know, it just felt like a failed experiment to do. Granted, it only had one season because it didn't do well, so yeah, it's gonna go in C. Actually, you know what? You're gonna go in D. But it's going above the Kung Fu Panda projects because it was much better than those Kung Fu Panda projects because I do not care about those Kung Fu Panda stuff. Then we have Legend of Korra. I'm currently still watching it, but I think it's pretty good. It's of course not as, now I don't think it's as good as like Avatar, The Last Airbender, but I do think it's definitely better. It's definitely better than most of these shows. As to where I'll put it though, I'll put it in B. I connected with it a lot more than these other shows. Spectacular Spider-Man, fantastic show. I love this show. Now, I technically have seen it before. I gave you a celebration, a television review earlier this year, but I love this show. It is phenomenal. It is, like, honestly, I've been praising that I want a Spider-Man 98, but I want a Spectacular Spider-Man Season 3 or whatever. I need more Spectacular Spider-Man. I need Josh Keaton to come back. Like, I like him as our Captain America and as our Steve Rogers and What If, but bring me back Spider-Man. Okay, we're putting this top tier. This is my favorite show that the first time, basically rewatch, but first time watch of 2024. Ultimate Spider-Man. So this is another show. I've seen the Disney XD Marvel Spider-Man shows, but I never actually watched them in its entirety from start to finish of all the episodes. And so I finally did it for Ultimate Spider-Man to prepare for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which I thought was coming out in November, but it's actually coming out next month. Actually, no, wait, it's coming out in a month. January 29th, December 28th. And in a month, I'll be 18 by then. This show, I think, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun characters. You get to see Spider-Man kind of team up with Nick Fury and work together with a bunch of heroes. Basically, it feels like a giant comic book come to life. And seeing all the iconic adventures of Spider-Man, I like the way they handle multiverse in here. And seeing all the different versions of Spider-Man in here and kind of learn about their different backstories. Though I know that the Spider-Verse movies have handled the multiverse much better. However, am I a fan of Spider-Man breaking the fourth wall? Kind of, but not really. Because I think in some parts it kind of works, but at the same time it's like, it goes a little bit too far. So, I still really like this series. I really appreciate it. So, as to where I'll place it, it's tricky. I'm going to put it in B. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And then we have Marvel's Spider-Man, which, I'm not going to lie. This show, it's kind of interesting because everybody was, like, complaining when they made Avengers, Black Panther's Quest, and they, like, kind of redid this whole universe, and they made every character look so different, and then they recasted Peter Parker, and I'm like, why does Marvel and Disney XD keep doing this? What is their problem with Disney XD here? And honestly, I can understand where everybody's coming from with that, but honestly, like I can understand that like the character designs of everyone, it's terrible. Like I hate the character designs. The fact that you have a very skinny Peter Parker battling like a giant rhino and a armored up scorpion, that makes no sense to me. Like, come on. I understand you have spider strength, but you don't really look that muscular. But honestly, I think the big thing that really works for this show is I love that, you know, Peter Parker kind of talks to himself and he's like a nerd and a scientist and he kind of fights his way through battles through fighting, but also through science. I think that was a very well incorporated thing throughout the show. I also just really love the action in this show and showing us different types of Spider-Man action. I think there's times where it gets a little too far where everybody just starts getting spider powers. I think season 2 might be one of the best seasons of Spider-Man that I've ever seen in like fiction history of Spider-Man, to where basically the entire season is just the Doc Ock storyline where he goes into Spider-Man's body, he learns to be a hero, he becomes Spider-Man's sidekick. Man, was that an incredible story. In the way that it was used, I absolutely loved this show. I thought it was fantastic. And then in the third season, I do think it drags a little bit. But I just loved that second season, man. That was so good. Oh, hello, Rick Kane. I'm fine. I'm currently ranking the shows I've seen throughout the year, if you can't tell by the title. So overall, I'm going to put Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man from Disney XD. Mr. Burcham. I'm not sure if that's an insult or if that is something that's a show. I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, so yeah, Marvel Spider-Man, top tier show for me this year that I loved. It was awesome. Then we have Daredevil, a show that I just recently finished earlier this year. Oh, okay, it's a show. No, I don't think I've watched Mr. Burcham. Well, I had a list. You're probably late to the stream, but this is a list of first-time watches. These are shows that did not come out this year. So, it's about to be the new year, so I have plenty of time to go watch Mr. Burcham or whatever that show is you're referring to. So, this is my 2024 list. This is my 2024 shows list. The shows that were released this year. These are shows that I am seeing for the very first time until now, but they're not released this year. Hopefully you understand. And thank you. So now we have Daredevil, a show that I just completed last week, and I absolutely love this show, man. I absolutely love the first season. I think I'm not going to talk too much about it because I just made a review last week, but I love it. I do think season 2 drags a little bit, and then everybody praises season 3. Not really sure where all that love comes from, but I understand the love, but I don't think it is the like number 1 best season of Daredevil, but I do think it's a great season of it. Where would I put it though? I'm gonna put this one in A tier, most definitely A tier. So yeah. Then we have Timon and Pumbaa show. Man, oh man, to talk about the Timon and Pumbaa show, I think this show is strictly fine. It was the only piece of Lion King media that I have never seen. And so I literally had to watch this for like 3 weeks straight in order to get ready for Mufasa. And wasn't really a full waste of my time, but I just wasn't all that into it. So where exactly would I put it though? I'm going to put it in the C tier next to Jedi and Winnie the Pooh. Jessica Jones, a show I'm currently watching. I'm still on the first season. Before I watched this, I was just watching season 1, episode 8. I think this show is good, but unfortunately, it's not hitching me the way it's not hooking me on the way Daredevil did. I think it's cool. I also think Jessica Jones is a pretty horny bastard, and the fact that she keeps fucking Luke Cage, and she did that twice in this show so far. But honestly, like, I'm not really sure what the plot of this show is. It just kind of feels like a bunch of random stuff. I don't really care about the characters, and yeah, Jessica Jones just seems pretty brutal. So I'll put this one in C. Gen V, this is basically the series where, like, it's like the kids of the boys' characters, they, like, go to high school. I thought it was fine. I'll put it in C. Sonic Adventures, or I think that's like, no, this is Sonic Underground, and this is Sonic the other show. I'll put this one right here. I don't really remember it, though. Spidey and His Amazing Friends, the last Spider-Man show that I watched before I thought Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man was coming out. I actually kind of enjoyed Spidey and His Amazing Friends. I mean, obviously, the show is on Disney. It's released on Disney Junior. It's aimed for children. But honestly, you know, I was a kid once, and I also used to watch a show called PJ Masks, and The Lion Guard, and Doc McStuffins. And Spidey and His Amazing Friends reminded me a lot of PJ Masks. And so, it's kind of like, this was fun. I will say, in the first season, it is kind of weird that you are fighting the same villains, and, like, they don't really do anything new with it. But then, once you get into the other seasons, more characters start coming. Not as much characters as I wanted to, but it definitely gets improvement when more characters start coming into the mix of the show. I think it's pretty cool, and the suits get updated, unfortunately. But I think this was a fine show. It's not harmful or anything, but I liked it. So I'll put this one. Yeah, I'll put this one in C. Sam and Friends. This is technically the first appearance of Kermit the Frog. And I don't really have too much to say about it other than it's fine. Hold on, let me get a drink. All right. Where would I put it? It's definitely not better than The Muppet Show, but it's definitely better than most of these shows. There are some musical elements to it that I like, so I'll put it in C. Oh, now we get to talk about Stranger Things. I finally get to talk about one of my favorite shows that I've seen since 2020. I think the show is incredible. I love this show. I think it's one of the best shows from Netflix. I love all the characters. I think season 1 is easily the best season. It gets a lot more enjoyable, but I feel like when season 4 came out, it boosted all of its love and lore. There's just so, and I'm excited for season 5. I'm gonna watch that whole thing through. I can't wait for season 5. So for some reason, throughout season 4, I wasn't paying attention as much, but I still love this show. I still absolutely love it. I'm gonna put this one A as well. It's just a top tier show. Then we have Cobra Kai. I think that this show is pretty good, but that's all I can really say about it. I'm excited to watch the Karate Kid movies this year, which you'll hear more about that in a few days. But yeah, I'll put this one in C, next to the bear. Spider-Man 81. This is the show from the 1981 show. much like Spider-Man 67, I think it's fine, but nothing too incredible. And then Sonic Underground. I thought this was a lot more entertaining than that other Sonic the Hedgehog show. I'll put it here. Spider-Man and his amazing friends, where basically Spider-Man teams up with Firestar and Iceman. I think it's pretty fun. And kind of showing to see all these different characters, but it's in this older age, so it's not exactly as fun as you would expect it to be, so I'm going to put it next to Spider-Man 67. And then finally we have Spider-Man the Animated Series. I thought it was fine, but it could have been so much better. But I'll put it in D because I enjoyed it a lot more than Spider-Man Unlimited, but I didn't really love it all that much. But yeah, there you have it. That is my list. Those are my first time watches that I saw in 2024 of TV shows. And if you want to see this, here, my top 10 favorite first time watches of 2024 are Marvel Spider-Man, Avatar The Last Airbender, Bob Loves Abishola, Grownish, Invincible, Stranger Things, Daredevil, Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness, Young Sheldon, and the Spectacular Spider-Man. And that is my list. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you could like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Come back tomorrow, and you are going to be getting my All of Us Strangers review. And you're also going to be getting all of my What If review, my What If season ranking, my What If episodes ranked, and my ranking of all 5 MCU projects that have come out this year, all ranked. And then we're going to start ending the year off with all the other stuff. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.